So good afternoon. Um, my name is Edward Oberholtzer. I'm the resident priest here at the Joseph Priestley Zen Sangha in central Pennsylvania. We are an affiliate of the Empty Moon Zen Sangha, and today I'd like to talk to you about Kanzeon. Let me begin many years ago when each evening during Seishin, the long, intense Zen meditation retreat, the Tanto, our retreat leader, would stand in the doorway, look out over the Sangha, give us all final instructions for the night, and bid us all good night, bodhisattvas. I was a bodhisattva. We were all bodhisattvas. We were all there to bring each other to awakening. This was a revelation. It was deeply moving. Bodhisattvas, wise beings who remain behind in the world of suffering, even though they could leave it behind, beings who have vowed to bring all other beings to enlightenment. That person sitting across from me for the past 7 days, he was a bodhisattva. That person sitting beside me, day in and day out, who'd been there each morning at 5 o'clock, she was a bodhisattva. Me, all of us, bodhisattvas, all of us Buddhas. This calls for some explanation. We, as members of the Zen community, look to bodhisattvas as the great exemplars of the Mahayana tradition. A bodhisattva refers to anyone who has developed, generated bodhicitta, the spontaneous wish and the compassionate mind to attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings, who yet chooses to remain behind until all beings can attain Buddhahood. Not just for my benefit, but for all of us. Pledging not simply to bring that sainted old woman down the street who goes out of her way to foster kittens, puppies, and neighborhood kids, but also that jerk who cheats on his school taxes, who swears at the impoverished, who would put the widow and orphan out on the street, all of them, even he, all of them to be saved. Me, you, the worst of me, the best of you, all of them. This is the Bodhisattva vow. A teacher once asked, as a thought experiment, that we go through an entire day seeing each encounter as being one with someone who was there solely to bring us to enlightenment. Our spouse handing us a cup of coffee in the morning, our child refusing to move quickly enough, even though we tried to get him ready for school, our co-worker taking credit for work that we had slaved over, the store clerk who goes out of her way to make our day brighter. The store clerk, the traffic cop, our spouse, our children, each of them there to open our eyes to our own true nature, each remaining behind for us. Kindnesses we see only in retrospect, all of them bodhisattvas. An interesting exercise. Tori Senji spoke of this in his Bodhisattva's vow when he wrote, "How can we be ungrateful to anyone or anything? Even though someone may be a fool, we can be compassionate. If someone turns against us, speaking ill of us, and treating us bitterly, it's best to bow down." This is the Buddha appearing to us, finding ways to free us from our own attachments, the very ones that have made us suffer again and again and again. And just as we are all bodhisattvas, there are as yet specific, named and beloved examples. Manjushri, the bodhisattva of transcendent wisdom, right here. This is the bodhisattva you find in Zendas. Kitishkaraba, the bodhisattva of hell beings. I love the notion that the being in charge of hell in Buddhism is there to get everyone out. As Jizo, you may know him as the protector of children and the unborn. Samattabhadra, the bodhisattva of great activity. And Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva of great compassion. All dedicated to bring all beings to awakening. You know, as Buddhism traveled from India through the Silk Road into China, Korea, and Japan, as it traveled down into Southeast Asia, into Sri Lanka, it absorbed other religions. It absorbed their gods and their goddesses and turned them to its own ends. Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva of great compassion, male in India, was absorbed by the female goddess Kuan Yin in China and became Kanzeon or Kanzeon once he or she made it to Japan. An interesting example of gender fluidity. The name Avalokiteshvara can be translated as the one who hears the cries of the world. Kuan Yin is often depicted as having 1,000 hands and eyes, the better to respond to all the cries of the world. And so we find in case 89 of the Blue Cliff Record, Yun Yan asking Dao Wu, how does the Bodhisattva Kuan Yin use all those hands and eyes? Dao Wu answered, it's like someone in the middle of the night reaching behind her head for the pillow. I understand. How do you understand it? All over the body are hands and eyes. It's very well expressed, but it's only 8/10 of the answer. How would you say it, elder brother? Throughout the body are hands and eyes. And so we come to today's chants. Avalokiteshvara shows up twice. We see him, we see her, in two of them, as the speaker in the Heart Sutra, the only sutra I know of not spoken by the Buddha. And we will explore this later as weeks go by. But I want to leave you with the 10-verse Kannon Sutra, the Emme Juku Kanongyo, a particular favorite of Hakuin Zenji, enchanted in both Rinzai and Soto temples. Kaz Tanahashi has written that this sutra came to the defeated Chinese general Wang Xuanmo in a dream sometime around 450 of the Common Era. The legend is that chanting it vigorously saved him from execution. 10 simple lines. Kanzeon, Namu Butsu Yo, Butsu U En Yo, Butsu U En Bo Po, So En Jo Raku Ga Jo Cho Nen, Kanzeon Bonen, Kanzeon Nen Nen, Jushin Ki Nen Nen Furi Shin. An invocation to Kannon, to Avalokiteshvara, who, through his compassion, brings us to awakening. Absorbing world sounds awakens a Buddha right here. This Buddha, the source of compassion. Kannon hears our cries and reaches out with hands that, moving so fast, they are perceived as 1,000 hands. This Buddha, this Kanzeon, receives only compassion. Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, just compassion. Pull out examples from the translations illustrating the koan, the spontaneity of reaching back for you, behind you for the pillow. In the dark, recall this. We all rejoice here in this moment. all manifesting Buddha, Dharma, Sangha in this moment, in the light, in the dark, as simply reaching behind your head in the night for your pillow. And in this moment, the true heart arises. This is all there is. Just this. Take care, Bodhisattvas.